guys, welcome back to the Best Friends by Design podcast. We are your hosts, Janet.
And I'm Giselle.
And today's episode, we have a very special guest with us.
Our very, very dear friend. I think he's my male version of Eugene.
Yeah.
Like, he's my male BFF. So I'm so honored to have him. Not only is he extremely talented, he's an interior designer who travels all over the world. Jay is the founding principal of Britto Charette. He's well-traveled. I love your enthusiasm for finding everything new, and not only new, but you know how to do it right. You know how to curate your pieces, not only for your company, but that's why we're bringing you here today to talk about everything Salone del Mobile. You have showed me so much on how to do it the right way, and we wanted to share with our viewers how you do it and really come up with a way to curate this whole trip. That's
The experience.
the whole experience is so enjoyable. So let's start with that. What do you do to prepare?
Well, now it's easy, right? It's just if we were to put it that way. But originally, the way I think of myself as a somewhat, I would say, normal, organized. I'm not a freak about organization, but so what I've been doing is throughout the years, whether if it's Milan or Paris Design Week or you name it. So what I'll do is I collect all the invitations and all the emails and from our vendors, right? So I create a folder and all the invites are there. I don't RSVP until I get most of them or I see the deadlines. Because most of it is just like some other vendors have new stuff to offer and some other stuff that I already seen it, right? Because we're constantly going to the shows. So that's number one. And then once I'm ready, I schedule, day by day. So for example, Salone del Mobile. A lot of the stuff starts even before the show opens to the public. I mean, to the designers, which is usually on a Tuesday, right? So you have Sunday and Monday to do a lot of the things and a lot of the walk-in and perhaps, see our installations and whatnot. So those 2 days, what I typically do is I set up to go and see galleries outside of Salone. So that will give me 2 days advantage.
It's so hard.
Yeah, because it's like a race.
It has a front end.
And you get less people those days, right? So I get to do, for example, Rosanna Blandini, that's the first one I do that day. I go to other showrooms and other galleries, so like, for example, Galleria Filia or whoever is doing like outside or, even showrooms like that don't display at, at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I typically do. And my days are packed. I mean, a lot of people think that's like, oh my God, Milan, it's so much fun. Yes, it is fun if you like it, right? I love what we do. But in the same token, it's like, I am. Yeah. And honestly, I hardly ever get distracted. I try to manage my time when it comes to eating. I don't want to have a sit down lunch. I want to grab and go. It's whatever you want it to be. If you want to go there and chill and have fun and meanwhile do whatever you can, that's fine. But my mission is different than most people. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty for all these new things, and it's like a kid in a candy store.
You want to see focus.
Yeah, you want to grab everything that you want as much as you can. And for me, it's like, that's knowledge.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff that, I don't find interesting to me, but I appreciate the beauty of it. And also trends, in our industry, not necessarily a place, for us in our practice, I say in residential design, the trends are not as when it comes to a commercial project, when it comes to restaurants, clubs, and all that stuff, which we don't do as much. At this point, we only do for repeat clients. So in that sense, I'm not really interested in any of that. So I try to focus on what it is that we're doing right now, who are our clients, what type of clients we're targeting to, so that already gives you a head start on what companies you're going to see. So that's how a program like we.
I think the show is kind of divided in a couple of different phases, right? This is the kind of way we usually plan it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned phase 1, but there is the phase of going to the actual show.
Oh, absolutely.
And then there's the phase of seeing the things at Brera,
right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
in the outskirts. So when you go to Salone, I know that we've done this together and we have very similar tastes. So we go to the same manufacturers and that's easy for us. But for some people that are interested in other, in traditional or other things, let's talk a little bit about your strategy.
Yes.
Because there's how many budgets? Every. You
right?
can't.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
It's so, how many miles?
Yeah, literally, you can't. I mean, unless you just spend every day during the fair at Salone, but you don't want to do that.
Nah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that you don't use, right? So focus on what it is that you expect, right? Unless you want to see everything, then it's up to you, but then you'll be wasting your time, really.
Yeah.
So what is it that you have been using? What are the brands that interest you? And what is it that you're there for, right? First of all. And based on that, I know exactly what I'm going to see before I even go to the fair. So it takes me a day because it's painful.
It is.
It is painful to get the
shower one day.
Yeah, I do the show one day. Yeah, because I there's a lot of stuff I don't really want to see. Yeah. I mean, I'm not interested in seeing. I mean, it's nice once they come out, but there are certain things because that I'm really interested in seeing when it comes to design and also there's a lot of not just new design. I would say it's like innovative stuff that you can find. So with that said, I mean, my day at the fair is I start with the brands that I use the most and that I'm interested in. So those are the first ones that are this book. And then after lunchtime or past that, like around 2:00, I do the others that I like that I use, but they're secondary to me, right? So that's what I do. But I make sure you book an appointment every vendor. But this year was a different.
It was lazy to book at higher slot.
Yes, and you know what? It's very. This year was very frustrating in parts because you booked already. This is what most of the vendors that I booked my meetings with, they were excellent. But it was one in particular that I got there and I already had my slot. It was from 11:15 to, on. I showed up there at 11. I said, no. And I had my reservation and everything that I made. And they're like, no, you have to queue and you have to go to the queue. And there's like 30 people in there. I was like, for what? So you can check in with us. I'm like, no, I'm at 11:30. You're not the only vendor I'm seeing today. So there is another vendor in 30 minutes that I have to be. That queue is going to take me 30 minutes. It's going to push me. I'm not going to ruin my day because of you. I left. So I left and I texted the manager who invited me. And I was like, hey, I tried to make it. I got there. He's like, oh, he texted me first. He's like, you never made it to the appointment. I was like, don't get me started. I said, this is what happens. And I left. It's like, well, you should have texted me when you were at the front. I'm like,
no, I don't have time to.
So no. So, but anyway, so that was one incident. But overall, I mean, book whoever it is that's going to give you the tour. Make sure you have a contact person. When you get there, they're there to receive you.
And have a cell phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
The contact to the cell phone, because if not, sometimes you don't get in either.
Yeah, because they're busy with somebody else and they can't find them.
So Salone has a app. You can download it ahead of time and you can mark the places that you want to see. I know I didn't because I'm so spoiled. Normally I'm with you. This year I wasn't because I had other things. But I was like, it was crazy because even the way they map things and the way they have it labeled is confusing.
It doesn't make sense, right? So you start with food, like you start with this booth. I mean, the warehouses, however you were to call it. So you start with like 5, 6, and it goes to 23. And it was like,
So
like, what? Yeah,
Well, but where
that
is,
makes sense.
how did we go from 5, 6 to 23, right?
Yeah.
So look at the calendar. So it's already like when we track our walking for that day, it's usually 15 to 16 miles, something like that. So every step, you want to conserve your energy, because if you do want to party at the end of the day, which we all do you party at the end of the day? Yeah, he does.
Well, until 9 p.m. And that's the time that parties start.
Okay. It's like to start late.
Yeah, I have a hard time because my bedtime is when
early too.
yeah. Well, I'm in bed by 9, and dinners are arranged at 9 p.m. By the time that you get served your main, it's almost midnight.
That's
It is.
So I book Barry's boot camp when I'm either in Paris or in Milan.
Really?
Yeah, so I do the first class, right?
You see,
So I have to.
that's what I call commitments. Even at, in Europe, at a trade show or anything, he's still getting his workout in.
Yeah, well, I try to continue my routine because otherwise I won't be able to sleep at night. So I kind of like, it's my way of.
And also, it's
Normal.
aside note, you travel a lot. So in order for you to be able to keep your life, how you'd like to look and your health, this is a health.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
For me, it's very important. My priorities in life have changed. It's been 5 years since I stopped drinking alcohol, and it's personal choice. My priorities have changed. It's like now I like to go to bed early. I like to wake up early and start with the gym. It's been like consistently 5 years now that I'm like on that, and I love it. I love it. I mean, it's like I wouldn't change it for anything. So I apply that even when we travel. I want my day to start the same way as if it was here, or when I'm in New York, it's the same thing. And I'm like, at Barry's boot camp in NoHo, so it's just easy for me to walk home. So it is a choice, right? But anyways, going back to that, it's like you have to plan your day ahead, and partying for me, it is fun, but if it's like right after, it's like if it starts early, then I'm there. Thank you, Modernova, actually, invited me to this beautiful dinner. It was just a little late. The following day, I was like, this is the only thing I do that I stay up late.
I know, but you did it because you love me.
Yes, I did.
I pulled the front card.
Yeah, it was great. That's great.
So you go to the show. You've now seen what you've planned it out. You've seen what you want to see. Now you only do one day for that.
Yes,
You used to do two.
Well, yes. When this year, for me, it's like I usually stay until Saturday. This year, I left Friday morning because we had a photo shoot that I couldn't change it. The clients were not able to change it for me, so I was in a way in a rush to leave Milan. But typically, I stay until Saturday. That's when I do the following day. I do half the day, and I dedicate for whether it's a year off. You have your luce, or you have this time I didn't get to see your cucine. I was able to see very little of that. I didn't have much time.
So for those of you that don't know, they alternate, right? Like, so every other year they do kitchen and bath or lighting.
Yes.
So this year was kitchen and bath.
Kitchen and bath, right.
And what was your highlight? Like, what was your favorite showrooms that you saw, lines in the show?
In the show, well, there were 3 lines that stood out a lot more than others. Not discrediting or anything the others. I mean, but it's just as a grouping, or I think Minotti was just amazing.
It really was.
Hit it out of the park.
They really did.
It was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. It's like last year, like Baxter was like, it was amazing, right? So this year, I think Minotti did an amazing job. flex form was the price.
And lighting panel.
Oh my God! What they did this year is like opening up like that space that it's like
We're outdoors.
you cannot it's like sit on anything, so you could just look everything, the settings and everything, the colors, the lighter colors with the camel contrasting. I thought it was just like
I think the creativity that comes not only obviously with a new product that gets introduced, but also the way they show it.
Yeah.
The way the displays, the money they spend. Oh my God, how much do you think my team must have spent on?
Yeah.
Oh
Definitely.
my God, it's up there. It's up there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The other that stood out for me this year was definitely was Meridiani. Meridiani. Last year Galotti Radice was right, so this year they did a great job as well. But I would say Meridiani was also as impressive.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Poltrona Frau, excellent. But I got to see Poltrona Frau more actually. Both. I did it outside of the fair because the lines were big and I couldn't get to see much.
Now going outside the show, there's all these beautiful installations, right? Like all over the place. And then there's people who don't show at Salone.
Yeah.
Like Molanova doesn't show at Salone. They show in their showroom. Right. Their showroom is where they like to show. And that seems to be the trend. Yeah. A lot of people are showing outside the show. Yeah. So you can't just rely that you're going to get your fill from going to the show. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's I don't know if it just started, but it's that trend. It's definitely progressing, right?
Yeah.
Within a lot of the brands, they do have a small presence perhaps at the show.
Yeah.
But their bigger draw is usually at their showrooms outside. So
I would think it's more intimate. You could get to see more out of it.
The days, I say yes, but the days that are private invite only, because otherwise you're going to be making a line outside of their showroom as well. This year, I think it was by far one of the busiest years I've ever.
I really saw Fiori Salone because everywhere I went, the line would wrap around the block. I'm like, oh my God, I came here for nothing. Like, I'm not here with even with a door.
It was great.
Are they open before the show?
Yes, some of them are finished preparing, and some others are not. Yeah, so that's another thing that I do. The Monday. That's the day that I go around and visit as many showrooms as possible in Brera or
And the show doesn't start till Tuesday,
right?
So you get Monday to do that.
So you don't get like 1,000 people inside the showroom, so you get to sit in the frames, you get to touch everything, see the quality. Well,
that's another thing. Like that's so the kind of designers we like to, in order for us to make proper recommendations to our clients, we're the kind of people that like to sit on the furniture, touch it and feel, look at the different finishes. And then I know that I like to do like a shared iCloud album with my staff, and I do it per vendor.
Yeah, that's the way of doing it. Yeah.
Right. And and we still refer to it. And we refer to it even throughout the year. Yeah. It's funny because I was getting ready to delete some of them, and the staff was like, no, we refer to it all the time. I'm like, I'm glad my work wasn't in vain.
Yeah, absolutely. I have albums actually throughout the years. I still have them in my share drive.
Yeah.
That I go back because there was something that caught your attention, but you didn't have the right client for it.
Right.
But then, it's kind of, you keep it in archive and you can always go back to it and use it in a different client. There's a lot of pieces that you see and you can't use it in one project, right? So you have to wait for the right moment.
So you upload those onto your Google Drive?
Yeah.
And now
or you can organize it in your book and your phone, your camera roll, and you have in your, because I use my phone for everything. Yeah. And I have their albums every year and they're pre-selected. I only photograph the things that I'm going to use. I don't, because otherwise it'd be confusing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great to know. That's a great tip too.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you go
have to be
see,
organized.
you see so many products, and by the end of the day, you can't remember one thing from the other because it's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
Yeah, and then I find it sensory overload. Like all the people, all the products that you're seeing, and now you're going to the street, and then you're trying to see more things outside the fair.
Right.
So I think being organized and having a system helps.
Yeah, the best thing is like walking through the show. If you're entering to, let's say, Molinova, you photograph the name before you enter, and then you start taking photos. Right, so you can associate it with it, so you don't have to. So you know that entire of the batch until you take the photograph of another vendor, then you know all those images belong to that. So it'll be easier for you to know what vendor. So
there's nothing worse than having like a random photo that's really good on your phone. Like,
well, sometimes I get distracted and I forget, and then I'm like, but I've good memory when it comes to furniture, so I go back and it takes me a second, and then I can go back to it.
Yes.
Now, outside of Salone, what was like your favorite thing that you saw? A favorite showroom or an event or something that really caught your eye that you were like, okay, this was memorable?
This year, I would say they're out of the big installations. They were not as. I think Hermes always does amazing displays, and how also they're very in tune with colors and textures and of what's gonna drive for either the next year to come or why not. So that's one thing for me. Hermes it's for colors, hues, and textures. I think it's great. Every year they're very, very good at. They do it in the same place, La Pelota. But overall, I would say Draga and Urel. I think for me that they had their display usually Gallery Ninufar, and then they also had some Rossano Landini's, right? For me, their stuff, every year they keep ramping up and they keep doing more stuff. Now even Holly Hunt carries their product. But I believe that they're very solid and stuff that, if you want to add color into your designs, they're the right people to go to. Their product are amazing. Yeah. Vincenzo with Conti, for example, was their showroom was also beautiful. There are a lot of things, but my favorite of all it's got to be it's Hench. Their showroom, everything that they're displayed there's a lot of things. It's just amazing how they can work with stone, metals, and it's just amazing. Every piece you look at, it's like how it's hard to convince a client by photos. We have that showroom in Miami, I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more business with them. But since it's very selective what we have here and not necessarily the stuff that you could probably use. But they're opening up a new showroom in Miami, I heard. I was told. So, 41 year. Yeah, but it was part of I think it was, at some point. But now they're having their own. I'm not sure if it's going to be a larger showroom, I was told. I would say their showroom was pretty impressive. And everything that they showed there was beautiful.
So it's a great, at least it's, a really good opportunity to be able to see these, the quality and the sit and the feel and the touch of all of the things you want to specify in your clients that you can't have access to a showroom.
Yes. One thing actually that I want to highlight is, Giselle, you kind of mention it a little bit. When it comes to this trade shows that we go to, what I do all my shopping there. So you hardly ever going to see me shopping here at the design center. Not because I'm lazy or anything. It's just it takes a lot of my time out of. Yeah. We do give them business, but I do my shopping at the fairs, and or when galleries, I do my homework before I present something to the client, so that when the client is like, why am I going to pay for this? It's like, so expensive. It's like, well, it looks beautiful and you can afford it, but besides that, it's comfortable. I touched it, and it's like, you can see, show photos of me trying, certain frames and touching and going over it. So I already looked at it for you. But if you want to see it, they're showing it at such and such place. You can go there you can take your time. I have no special interest or anything, except that, those are the pieces that I want to use in your interiors. So for me, it's very important. So I don't have to go shopping with the client for every product that I've selected. So if you want, they have it here, and there, and I send them. They're happy. They go on their own time. They don't have to rush with me, because if I go, I only have limited time that I can be with them. And I was like, okay, see this. And then, so they even have chance to see more things in there. Maybe, they end up liking more stuff from, the showrooms. But I do my shopping typically there, and I hardly ever get out of my desk, because I want to be productive when I'm in my office. I want, just like the way I do my planning at the fair, I do the same thing. I go to work and I'm like in my computer, and I'm very focused, and I share all that with my team. And it's like, guys, this is, all the stuff that it's saved, guys can, it's approved. You guys can use it for any other projects. So
how do you handle a client that wants to has to sit in a sofa, and it's something that isn't in Miami, nowhere close?
Yeah, well,
and
they're just gonna have to trust you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just tell them, listen, if you don't feel comfortable, let's select something else. But I just have to trust you.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. That's if you've sat already on that chair or the sofa, you can see it. Listen, it's comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's comfortable. You need to try it.
Right.
I mean, you need to trust. So, and that, if you're very convincing in what you're saying, because you already tried it, the client is not going to second that. Yeah. It happens all the time for me. I mean, here and there, it may be the price point that they don't want to pay, but I hardly ever have clients say no, because I've done my homework. I mean, I work for them prior to them hiring me.
Exactly.
So it's like they're getting a value, actually, if we were to say.
Yeah, a lot of clients need to understand and realize that designers are doing all the research for them.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
You're curating, where some designers only use the resources, let's say in Miami, where we're here, you're using the resources from around the world, and that's, I think, what you were trying to get to, that it's not just Milan.
Right.
That's the show that you go to.
Right.
You go to
everywhere. Yeah, everywhere, any country that there is, and galleries as well. So, as you grow in the industry and your career takes you to a path that you're hired by, wealthier and wealthier clients, and the more affluent some of the clients are, that they want to have things that are more special, right? So that you start specifying collectible pieces, right? So for that, I do also all the shows that only sell collectible items, number pieces, and why not? So that's another thing that I'm constantly. At one point, I have another client. It's like, asked me, it's like, wow, you travel a lot. Don't you have time? How do you have time to do when you do? I was like, listen, you should thank me for all this travel that I do, because a lot of my travels are not based on what you see. It's just very minor, but it's based on culture, based on stuff and everything that I apply in interiors.
And I could attest, when we travel around the world, everywhere we go, it's interesting. I always say that I wish we had a little microphone or a camera watching us travel all over the world, because not only are we looking at the actual products, but we're actually looking at the architecture, and we're being so inspired by our surroundings, by the way it's lit, or the music, or the smell, or the sound. For us, it's a complete experience that we're trying to bring to our clients. And the more well-traveled we are, the more layers I think it adds to us.
Absolutely. It's it definitely knowledge is power. I mean, but I am very grateful. I mean, besides having David is an amazing partner to have, and he totally gets it. He understands. He does the same thing, And so we divide and conquer. But I am very focused when it comes to, I love this. I mean, it's just like, sometimes feel like, wow, I'm getting paid for doing it. It's something that I enjoy doing, right? So, and it's, it may sound like a cliche for some designers, but I really enjoy it. All my trips are based on, I have to see a couple of galleries wherever I am. Or I have
museums.
Always. So I make sure I am not gonna be the traveler that goes to the south of France and I'll be hanging out at the beach at Saint-Tropez or do it. If I go to a vineyard, I'm going for their art collections that they have. And because I don't drink alcohol, right? So we're going to be going to the south of France and we're going to be doing that. So we went to a vineyard. But so what I'll do is I'll make sure that there's all the culture I could possibly. I'm a sponge, and the world is like, there's so much out there that is still yet to.
There's so much to see.
Well, and that's going back to traveling. One of the things that I've always wanted to do that I've yet to organize, I'd probably have to get your husband involved in that, is coming up with a travel plan, like with Britto, and let's say mapping, all the showrooms or everything we want to see, like mapping the town, because they're kind of near each other. It reminds me of the different zones. There's Britto, there's
they're spread out. I mean, this year, I mean, we had to take the metro even outside of the first zone, right? And you get past all this, and you find, oh my God, that's the good thing about Europe. I mean, like anywhere in Europe, you find like stuff that we're not used to here, as you're in New York City or whatever. But it's just like, it's a lot of traditional stuff that I love it.
So like taking a map, not only doing it by the day, but also pinpointing where you're going to go. I mean, you have to be super precise, making all your appointments, like having your connections. And if you don't, like ask somebody that's a senior to you, hey, how do you go about doing these shows? And that's why we really wanted to do this podcast, because I know how frustrating it is to go. You've made this huge investment to go to Salone, and then you don't really know how to get about it. And that's another thing. What we probably should have started is how we even travel to get there, because the flights are so expensive that time of year. Yeah. And for some of us that have certain travel requirements, special requirements of flying business class, it's crazy. Yeah. So what I like to do is always go ahead of time and hopefully go to another country and then go to Milan. That's the best way of doing it, if anything, because you can still a work trip. Yeah. You still need to get there, and might as well since you're there, your vacation to it, because
I love that.
Yeah, typically I usually do it before or after. I take some time off to enjoy either with my husband or family or friends, or but it is a great way actually to tag along.
You're already going so far. You might as well make the best of it. See something else and you haven't seen or visit it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I got the chance to visit our son in Florence because he's doing the study abroad. And I know you went to Como after to do right. And that's the way to do it. I mean, really try to take advantage and enjoy it. Right. And we book the flights and the hotel, especially the hotel, way in advance. Yeah. I mean, how far in advance do you book your hotel and flights?
Once they announce when it's going to happen again, the fares, that's when so as soon as we probably know what you can only buy plane tickets at the latest 9 months in advance. So that's probably about right. Yeah. The time when I book by January, I already know where I'm going the entire year. So all my trips are lined out. The only thing that's not lined out is like local traveling, like going to New York, because it's like, it's just right there.
It's easy.
But all my travels are by January, I already know. So I booked everything. I put it in my calendar, so at least my team knows when I'm in town and not, and also my clients. But it's also one of the things I wanted to share about traveling is and how I get to do so much of it while I'm conducting business, and we're busy. It's not like we're not. So what I typically do is I book all my travels to leave town on a Wednesday evening, and then I'll come back on a Monday or Tuesday. So I am gone part of 1 week and only part of the next week. So if a client wants to have a meeting, I'm like, you can see me any week you want.
Yeah.
I'll be either in Miami, New York, wherever you want to see me, but I am working 1 or 2 days out of that week. So it's not like saying, oh, I'm not going to wait a month for you, to see you.
Or another beauty with Zoom and with you do everything, you could do your job anywhere in the world, because I've watched you do it, and I've watched the commitment you have on waking up early, doing whatever drawings, doing whatever emails, whatever Zoom calls, whatever. So I think it's the best of both worlds, and it's something that we're both turning 50 this year. And I think it's a matter of doing things smarter, right? Not harder, and enjoying the process.
Right.
And I think you do it so well.
Yeah, it's I guess as you get older, 50,
wiser.
I found ways to travel. I want to know what's going on. I mean, I want to be connected, because at the end, I mean, we're an industry. It's a service industry, and the clients are trusting so much money to you, and I want them to know that they are important to me.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what keeps me up and doing, a little, I even when I'm gone, I work like 4 or 5 hours before I take the time to do that. And I get that out of my way, and then it's time for me to enjoy and go whatever I need to go and do while I'm traveling. But I get to put in a couple of hours every day, going through all my emails, which so at least it's not hunting me, and I'm like thinking it's
that's really good. That's responsible. I'm sure you don't have to, because you have a team that could support you and answer the calls or be there. But it's great if they get you. And that says a lot about you as a designer.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's great. It's really
so. Jay, tell us about what you have coming up. So I know you have some really exciting stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of great things happening. We're busy with interiors, but we're also we're working in a couple of things. I mean, it's not just one. The thing is, with since we travel a lot, my husband and I, we talked about having this this way of sharing it. So we came up with Lux on the Fly. So we wanted to have something that
brilliant.
Yeah, that we can share. Lux on the Fly. So we share our travels. But it's also Lux on the Fly. It's the website. It's been it is a lot of information that you need to put in there. So Joseph has been working on it. So that's one of the things. If you have a chance to go and take a look at it, it's Lux on the Fly, either .com or go to Instagram. There's not much going on Instagram, but the website has a lot of information, which you're talking about points and have a map and you have all that information. Like, you have absolutely a lot of our travels are based on food, culture, and art and architecture. So if you're that, we didn't kind of, this was having in mind people like us, we thrive for art and design and architecture and also food, right? So it is great for whoever's interested in that. We just to share our experiences, and also we highlight what was the most remarkable. I mean, there are a lot of places, not because you're Michelin star, and we're not just going to mention them there, because if we had an experience in Paris.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, which it's not named there, but there are all the restaurants in Paris that we found that are just amazing, right? So those are the ones that are going to be. And also, the other thing about it is that our travels are not going to, in the website, you're not going to find, go to the Eiffel Tower or go to the Arc de Triomphe.
Right.
No, we're not going to send you there. We're going to send you to places that you're least thinking about, but it will be nice for you to go and make it. because they're not as popular as
And
what is
tourist traps.
the tourist traps. Right? We would try to get you away from all that and get you to know the essence outside of what's already out there, or like it's been. I guess I don't know. It's like
Popular. Mainstream.
Right.
I could attest.
We have personalized experience, right?
Yeah.
I could attest as somebody who's very particular about food, restaurants. It's for me, it's not just the restaurant and the food. To me, it's the experience.
Absolutely.
And obviously the decor and having a fully immersed way of immersing into the culture, right?
Yeah.
So traveling with you and Joseph has been so rewarding because I feel like I get the best of all of it. Yeah. The restaurants, I'm picky about the hotels.
Very
picky about the hotels. Well, for me, it's like I want to be pampered and I want to have that experience. And I don't travel as much as you do,
right.
But when I do, to me, that's part of my enjoyment. So traveling with you guys, can you imagine even a playlist? So you do even an individualized playlist based on where we're going. That is inspired by that culture, the music and everything. So it could be a month ahead of time, we start playing the playlist and you get in the mood, you get in the vibe. And who doesn't want to be inspired, and who doesn't want to have something to look forward to, especially how hard we work. So I can attest that Let's on the Fly was such a great idea that you guys did. Go check it out. I mean, especially, I don't know how many times I've done the research and looked up all the cores, places that they recommend, but it's based on one viewpoint. It's not
who's paying for that advertisement.
Right. Yeah. So it's not based.
Yeah. Ours is based on our own travels and experiences. And so we don't get paid for it by any restaurants or hotels. No, but I'm saying everything is based on our experiences and hopefully one day. But at this point, I mean, it's not like I had to put it in there, or we have to put it in there because we're getting paid by, such and such restaurants or hotels. But But that's one of the things. And the other is as I travel, I develop an eye for capturing our travels. And so I created this Instagram account that it's Britto Snacks.
Yes.
So
it's lovely.
Thank you.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
All shot on your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible.
So I wish I have like over 30,000 photos in there, and I only have like 200 or 300 in that one. But I'm taking my time too. But I edit my camera. I had over 150,000 photos, 180,000 photos. Now I curated to 30,000, which is on the architecture and design. So it's just taking it takes time. But every chance I have, and I have a free time, or if I get early to an appointment, I sit in my car and I edit some of the photos because they have to be square and why not. And I post it, but I wish I had more time. Someone that can help me manage that account because I have so much content that it's like
so much.
I see a coffee table book in your future.
Yeah,
I'm seeing all of your fabulous photography.
And it's fun. I mean, it's kind of funny because I'll be with Brett and Joseph will be there, and Jay and I are like with our phones, like ready to capture, and they're like, "Where did?" Just sound
You're
Jay.
great. Also capture.
I love capturing it, but honestly, not as good as you are.
It's just more, I do it more often, I guess.
Yeah, you do it more often, and but definitely you have like a spectacular eye, and I've seen you use some of the pieces in your work as well. So when I see that, I'm rooting for you, obviously, and I root for you so much that I have one of your pieces here that I actually enjoy and love so much. But I think you're great, and I really see a future, and you're expanding as part of your portfolio of it's another creative outlet.
Right. Yes, I enjoy it a lot. It's an amazing hobby for me to be able to do that. But it's not. I mean, for me, music. I mean, I'm like maybe my next life will be a DJ.
DJ. Well, with Lux on the Fly, with all those playlists,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but for me, it's more about mixing them and together and creating different.
Well, now you got to get together with
That's a fun hobby too.
Yeah, it is. But it's just I don't have time.
Right.
I will go paddle every time, like it's like
every week.
my time is like it's like oh my
Well,
god.
hold on, we're not done. But you know what's interesting? All your hobbies
Yeah,
are all related to some kind of creative outlet.
yeah,
And I find as interior designers, we do that. You know, we're so passionate in what we do. And what we do is such a sensory thing. So whether it's music or photography or food, it's all part of the experience, right? That we're trying to cultivate and share with our clients and like share all that knowledge. I can't let you skip your furniture design because as much as I'm excited about your photography and Lux on the Fly, I'm really excited at some of the pieces that you've been designing. Let's talk about that.
Well, everything, if you were to trace everything back, it goes back to, walking the show or walking a gallery or go Design Miami or walking, you name it. You enter into the space, we have lots of options, lots of furniture, but your eyes curating at the same time. You're like, this is beautiful, but this is not something I probably use, right? I see the beauty in things, but I don't necessarily find something that I would use in my interiors. So throughout the years, I have great memory for furniture. It's just like, it's impressive. Like I sometimes amuse myself, like how much, my team is like, they'll show me a photo. It's like, okay, this is such and such. I already know this. And also it's like, I'm looking for this and this and that. So who do you think it happened? And I already popped and I know. So there's the things that, so we have one of our team members, she was hired just to help us design products. And I constantly tell her, I tell her, you're doing a great job. When it comes to certain things, she just gets it right away, right? But there are certain other things that as a designer, she may start designing, but it's like, you could be a great designer for products, but at the same token, it's like, if I see what YouTube's done, I see it on the floor already made, I'll probably just walk by it and I would not even pay attention to it. So there are things that you have to trust our eyes, because the more I see, it's like the more my eyes become like more curated. So you kind of like, you tune, your eyes to see things that you think are interesting. Not just they're better or anything. It's just things like,
I know that, because we do product design as well.
Yeah.
And I find that sometimes the scale of European design, especially cocktail tables, are really low for American standards.
Yeah. So
it's not just about creating something beautiful, but creating something that's functional and right for our clients, right?
Yeah.
What can we expect from so you're at the process of curating a collection, right?
Right.
And what's your inspiration for the collection?
Well, a lot of the pieces are, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. All right. There are products that I love, but they're not necessarily the right shape, or they don't have the legs that I want, or the type of tops that I want. There are a lot of things that you get inspired by, and that goes for most designs.
Sure.
Yeah. So for me, it's just like a recognition of a lot of the things that I like, and
like your version of it,
right? Put it together. So we have a design meeting with David and Suselle, and then we're like, this is kind of like the move that we're going to go. This is the materiality. We start talking about the shape, materials, and what is it that we like about something, what is it that we don't like about the other piece. And based on that, we create a quick sketch, and then we go from there. But it's been really interesting. We've been, most of our projects, we have 1 or 2 pieces that are ours, and throughout the years, we never thought of like perhaps have our own pieces out there also available for someone else to use it, right? Either an end user or a designer. For us, it would be great for a designer rather than end user to use the pieces, because they're not pieces that they're not easy to make, and
I have my eye on one of those cocktail tapes.
Well, actually, it's coming. You're gonna see it in our new studio.
Yeah,
we have 2 coming actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's just it's a mix of a lot of things that we like, and we were able to, yeah.
And you also have a collaboration with Kyle Hunting. That's super exciting.
Yes, been doing business with Kyle for so long, and he's so good at making custom pieces. And that was 13 years ago. We did our first collaboration. We came up with mirrors and stools, and we did also just rugs. It was a success that he was telling us that was one of the best seller out of his collection.
Wow, congratulations.
And that was back then. Right now, the Brasilia collection, David was heavily involved in that, and I think really highly of David when it comes to design and his vision. He's super smart guy, very knowledgeable, and so he's like, Jay, I have this an idea that I collected going to Brasilia. Let's work on this, and so we gather up and help edit sort of things, but most of the stuff, it's like it was David that has to do with it, and it is impressive. I gotta say, I mean, we used a couple of the pieces in one project that just got photographed, and it will be out there. But we also used it. We use it in other projects, but overall, I think it's an impressive collection. So that's with Kyle Bunn.
I'm a high lover.
Yeah.
Well, and you will love this collection. The selection, I love how graphic it is and how bold. It really makes a statement. And I think when I'm not too much of a pattern person, but with rugs, I like that because I love how it grounds.
Yeah.
And how it grounds the environment. And I think the collection is beautiful, and I'm proud of you, amigo.
Thank you. That's amazing. How life brings you together. I mean, like at one point I share with you how much I admire your work. And because you were already doing projects and all that, and I was just starting my career. And now we're together. We're like, traveling the world.
And I think now it's so interesting because I feel like we're all inspiring each other, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've learned throughout the years of your circle is your life. It's what feeds you. It's whether it's a positive circle or a negative circle. And I have the privilege of being friends with such creative people, and I think we help each other a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's my doors are always open. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the community, it's our community, like the interior design community. I found myself like what designers in New York that when I have projects there, I reached out for, it's like, hey, you have this such vendor. I'm in need of someone local to do work. Never get a reply.
No.
And meanwhile, I'm here.
That about New York design.
For some reason, I don't know. The ones I reached out to, they're just very, like, I guess, jealous. I don't know, or they just, I don't know what it is. But when it comes to that, I mean, like, whoever's listening to this podcast, if you're ever in need of anything, any type of that I can be of any help to further your career, without stepping on my toes, I will be more than happy to share, the knowledge of what, it's like, and we always do. I think
we always do. I
mean, doing it.
I love that, Jay. That's great. Your wealth of knowledge. And I mean, every conversation I have with you, there's always a takeaway. Always. You've always, you know, you love to share. You're just a kind human. You like to go to the gym and you never waver from that. I love that. I love the dedication. Yeah. But you're, you know, it's just you're hard. And yeah, I don't see there's a lot to learn from that, you know, more people.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It took me a while to get where we are right now as a company. But you know what? It's like,
how long you just moved too? But we haven't even talked about it. So just moved.
Yeah. So we left our studio in Wynwood that we were there for 10 years. And we moved around here near the design district. But the area, for people that don't know, the design district is located in Buena Vista. So that's also where we are. So it's just a couple of blocks up the street. We love it. It's
cute little houses there.
Right. So we were like, so, you know, during COVID, a lot of people work from home, and why not? And the idea of a couple of galleries that we do business with, they had their showroom at houses. We're like, you know what? Why don't we do this? Because we're by appointments only, right? So you feel like you go into a nice house and you just enjoy the house and you're doing work, and it's a perfect. I mean, I love it. We're not done with construction yet, but because we still get to, we're going through the permits and put in a pool. So that's yeah, absolutely. We're going all the way. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, actually, but the ones that we want, and you know, they're a showroom, but we're a design studio. It is perfect for, you know, anyone wants to just take a personal call. You just go there and, you know, just some down and whatnot.
And I love it because we put so much money into the spaces that we lease, usually for our office spaces.
Yeah.
So here you made an investment that could end up being part of your retirement.
Yeah, I mean, the way the real estate is coded,
exactly.
Yeah, it's fair.
Now you've added to your real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
Your, you know, people will have a mortgage or put whatever money you put into it, you know, you're going to be able to take away.
Yeah.
When you do a lease, you really gave all the improvements with the landlord.
That's what just happened in Wynwood. We ended up paying so much money.
Office.
Yeah, we left everything. You know, we couldn't take anything with us.
Yeah.
I mean, because it doesn't fit in the, you know, that's just us. It's not the buyer.
Yeah.
Right? But we're happy overall. I mean, it's a great move. I hope my team think the same. I think they're happy. It's just a construction part that we were not complete because, you know, it
takes time. Miami's busy. Everybody's busy. Yeah. There's delays.
Yes.
Listen, even, you know, our clients suffer, so do we.
Yeah.
The same thing.
It's the same thing.
You know, we don't get privilege.
Yeah.
Usually we don't get construction privilege. No, we don't get construction privilege. Usually it's because they're working on our job. So client comes first, right?
Yeah.
Client comes first. But I think that was such a smart move.
Thank you. I think so too. And we just got the landscape done. That I always wanted to have frangipani and so we have like 5 plants of that, and now I also have jasmine on the other side of the. I love plants and flowers. For me, it's like after that now, like actually when it rains, I get so happy. I was like, oh my god, my like plants. It's crazy. I mean, how I think, right?
I think it's like. We also are grounded. As much as we are always on the sky flying, we're also grounded, and we could appreciate the beauty of nature and
simple things.
Simple things, exactly. And I think more and more you motivated me to stop drinking.
Yeah.
Because you were like, hey, just try it. You know, it's the same thing. I mean, I'm very grateful because it's changed my life, and I see the clarity that it's brought to my mind and my brain. And I love where I'm at right now with my health journey and our lifestyle too. And I'm glad we get to share it and we get to inspire each other.
You don't drink anymore.
I half of what I cut down and significantly. I don't know if I can do y'all away.
Yeah, but it's it. I mean, I don't think I think it's like it's a matter. It's like you either want to do it or not. People drink their entire lives and they're fine. Yeah, as long as you don't abuse it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't look at it as a habit. Like, oh, it's happy hour.
Right.
You know, I do it like.
Especially
I know. Yeah. You know, it's just like.
But you're very healthy.
Yes.
You're very, very healthy.
Yeah.
Another one that's very disciplined. It's so funny how I just realized, I guess the two people in my life that are my best friends are so disciplined and so regimented, says the Virgo, right? And also disciplined and regimented. I guess I find respect with people who live their lives like that with order.
Yeah.
You know, and I aspire you guys too, because we have that discipline and that drive. And I think it's gotten us this far, right? It's really brought us to the place where we're at. And I think we're all happy with where our lives are going. And it's because we are hardworking, disciplined designers, human beings, and we're kind and we're loving. So all those, and we'd like to share. Designers are awesome. I guess they are. Aren't they awesome? Oh, I think so.
Well, you're definitely awesome. And thank you so much for joining us.
We're very grateful.
We can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd love to do a podcast on business tips and you strike me as someone who can, handle a difficult client. Like, what do you do? Like, I know there's a lot of designers now that are building their businesses, and even in myself that I've been doing this for, a few years, I still struggle with how do I handle certain, client issues or questions, or when they question you as the authority, and how do you handle that? And
it's never easy, but I guess it's just a matter of confidence, and because that
confidence.
Again, confidence is the more confrontations you have, the more you know, or you learn how to handle difficult situations. That's one thing I tell my team members. It's like, if a client starts disrespecting you, you just don't talk to them and tell me, and I will handle that, because they should not go. They sir, that's not, no, I won't. So, and it's, it's not their place for them to be. It's just, I feel like they're my kids and my family. I don't want. But I mean, we always. It's hardly ever you get one of those clients, but overall, our clients are very good. We're very happy with the type of clients we're working with.
Follow boundaries.
And or also difficult clients when I notice them right away. I'm like, listen,
red flag.
Even though if sometimes we had already have a signed contract, we tell them, listen, we'll give you every penny we've given us. I'm not here for the money. I'm here for my sanity, and let's just, leave it the way it is. And we can't work together. And I walk away from the project. Doesn't matter. It could be $1 million project. I don't care. I care. I don't want you to start disrespecting anyone, my team or myself. I want to be able to do things without going to bed at night and thinking, what is this person going to come up with next? Right. So I try to stay away from that.
You're right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jay. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Coming and sharing all your tips.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to have you back. And we look forward to hearing what else you get yourself into, because what trip you.
That's a chance. I have a lot going on. I try to multitask, and I'm good at it, but there are times some things need more attention than others. I am happy. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
It's, sometimes I feel good we've been recorded, but it feels.
That's what it's supposed to feel
natural,
like.
yes.
A conversation among friends.
So check out Lux on the Fly for the ultimate boutique travel experience, curated by Jay Britto and his amazing husband, Joseph, which we all love.
Follow him on Britto Snaps.
Oh, yes.
Britto Snaps.
Not my personal account, because there's not much going on there, but Britto Snaps is fun.
Yeah, and it's like your travel memoir.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously follow Britto Charette.
Yes.
Instagram, and you're on also Facebook as well. So follow our dear friend on all his beautiful, cool venture.
Thank you guys for joining us. And until the next time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this podcast episode. Save it for when you're ready to go to Salone del Mobile. You are prepared and you know what you got to do, and you have your plan. And if you forget, you can always reach out to Jay and he could give you some guidance. We're now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Until the next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.